What does this man have to do with the recent blackouts in Spain, Portugal, and France? Hi, I'm Kat Mack. I train AI and I also have an educational background in cybersecurity as well as I create content. Everything in this video is alleged. This gentleman and his family met a very sad fate recently as they were the family that was involved in the helicopter crash that broke over the Hudson River that was touring New York City. We would later find out that this man was an executive and not just an ordinary executive. He was the executive of this company, which I'm not going to say the name of. So I started wondering, hypothetically, I asked AI to help me gather some information. Exact prompt is, hypothetically, if world governments were testing reactions or preparing citizens for incoming event by slow exposure in the countries of France, Spain, and Portugal, and it was done to show the rest of the world too, hypothetically, why would those three countries be selected to implement first? What is unique about all three? And now the rabbit hole gets really deep. According to Gemini 2.0 Flash, geographic location and shared borders. It says that Spain shares a significant border with France to the northeast, acting as a land bridge between the Iberian Peninsula and the rest of continental Europe, which all the power is sourced from France's grid and spreads. So think about that, allegedly. It goes on to say that France borders Spain and has extensive land borders with multiple other major European countries. It gives the examples. This could allow for observation of spillover effects and or controlled information flow to other nations. All three are significant members of the EU with well-established economic, political, and social ties to the rest of the continent. This interconnectedness can make it easier to monitor reactions and spread information across the EU. It also notes the very diverse demographics and societal structures within these regions. All these Western European democracies have distinct cultural histories, societal norms, and demographic makeups. Testing in these three countries could provide a broader range of initial reactions compared to selecting three very similar nations. There's varying levels of economic influence because France is a major economic power in Europe, while Spain and Portugal have different economic scales. Controlled experiment. Their geographic relationship, the Iberian Peninsula connected to mainland Europe via France, could allow for somewhat controlled observation of how reactions could spread geographically. Reactions in these countries could serve as an early indicator for how similar events or information might be received in other parts of Europe or the world. And there might be other logistical or political reasons why these three countries were chosen for a hypothetical initial phase. So then I asked AI if there were any current tensions or conflicts as of April, early May 2025. Spain is a member of NATO and the EU, generally maintaining peaceful relations with most countries. However, there are some ongoing issues exist, and I found one to be really interesting. Morocco gave them some power from their supply, which I thought was interesting because sometimes they have problems with Morocco because it's complex. And it concerns the Western Sahara. Spain is the former colonial power of Western Sahara, and its status remains disputed. But then we got here, leading smart cities. Cities like Barcelona, Madrid, Valencia are recognized as leading smart cities in Spain and Europe. Barcelona was even ranked as the first smart city in Europe and third globally in 2022 by Juniper Research. Spanish smart cities are focusing on areas like smart mobility, remember that word, energy efficiency, green urban planning, intelligent waste management, smart lighting, traffic control using IoT, and citizen participation through digital platforms. And Climate Neutral Cities mission. 7 Spanish cities were selected by the European Commission to participate in the 100 Climate Neutral and Smart Cities by 2030 mission. Here I have highlighted some of the things that each smart city is known for, like the one in Valencia. 45 services on an open cloud platform. Another one has a strategic plan with over 200 projects focused on zero energy balance, water management, smart waste management, and sustainable transport. Which it's interesting naming all these things because these are the things that were named in the media that failed. And remember, if in fact there's a coup or a psyop of some sort, the things that they're talking about are the things they really want to pick apart in the media that we're not aware of. We just received them, but it's for another audience. And this is why I think they were talking about renewable energy. And then Spain was like, but we ain't using that source because Spain is involved in this. And I'm going to tell you where it ties in with the first person I mentioned. Now, these are for Portugal, top smart cities, study and identify. Lisbon, that's in Portugal, leading smart cities. Other cities like these, I'm not going to name, are also actively developing smart city solutions. These focus areas are working on areas like intelligent irrigation systems, smart meters, open data platforms, facial recognition, experimental networks, air quality monitoring, etc., etc. If all of the power goes down in these areas that are doing these smart city projects, that kind of fucks up your project, doesn't it? So I asked, was Siemens involved in any of the projects? Yes, they've been involved in smart city projects and initiatives in both Spain and Portugal. The new smart headquarters is in Madrid. They're actually building a new corporate headquarters. It's expected to be operational by 2028. This will be a smart campus featuring advanced digital solutions for smart infrastructure. It will include, here's that mobility word, sustainable mobility solutions and efficient energy management. They've collaborated with Microsoft. They have an open urban platform built called MindSphere. It says, while the example is given for Vienna, the platform itself is intended for global application and smart city development, suggesting potential use in Spanish cities. And then you have the mobility solutions. This is involved in a lot of projects in Spain, including investments in its factory to expand production capacity for rail transport. Remember, they made sure to mention that all the railways failed? Here's some more information. Pause to read. And here's some more information as well. Pause to read. And it continues. Pause to read. Everything's about climate-friendly energy supply, and that's why they think they keep making these comments. This is actually from their website. It says Siemens has participated in several strategic projects in the community of Madrid in recent years. Is now involved in such as others as Madrid Nuevo Norte, which this is a big deal because I looked this up, and Madrid Content City, which I have yet to look that up. And this is where the sustainable energy comments come in with Spain. Smart cities collaborating with industrial fabric. This is the future headquarters. It will follow the course of its other buildings in Spain, which are already powered 100% sustainable energy and have Class A efficiency and have been recognized with the Ministry Ecological Transitions Compenso seal. That's why it's interesting, and that's why they accuse them. And they're like, nuh-uh, we're not doing that. So then I found this infrastructure forum. They put this out April 29th, 2025. Like there's an elephant in the room and we're not going to talk about it. So they go on to talking about this project, Madrid Nuevo Norte, project for Madrid and its citizens, literally the day after. And some officials are still saying that they've ruled out a cyber attack. It's not a cyber attack. There could still be some other motives involved. And then now this is going. The head of Spain's power grid refuses to resign as officials hunt for cause. They're like, you better tell me. And he's like, I'm not going nowhere. But back to this gentleman. He made major contributions to that company, like major. And he contributed heavily to their success. He only was in this position for only a few years, maybe 2-3 years, but he had given his life to this company, but just not in that position. And this was the article that I was referring to of the gentleman. If you don't put two and two together, this is the man that is heading the whole project in Madrid. Top executive at a global technology company. And this is something that he quoted himself. He goes on to say that the demand for energy will increase within 10 years of what we would have had in 100 years. Interesting, he talks about the capacity of electricity and transmission grids. And it happened in the place that he was in charge of all this. That's a little sus. Specifically, he was working on AI intelligence and its role in smart grids. This is where they say that his work has been key to the success of field and mobility and transport. And here's where the come in. I was talking about Pegasus the other day, but here's a different version. And Siemens was contracted to design it specifically for them on printers. Go to part 3.